Hi everyone, Carter Krishnaiyer here From the Pavilion, a Beyond the Boundary podcast. And the T20 World Cup will start this week, this Saturday, February 7th in Mumbai. Our own Team USA playing in the very first match of the tournament against the defending champion and co-host India, which will be in Mumbai, 8:30 a.m. Eastern Time, first ball. It is on Willow TV here in the United States. It is on ESPN in the Caribbean. So what do we expect from this U.S. squad, which was late being named, and there was a reason for that. It was because there was a different selection process this time, which had, because of the suspension of USA Cricket from the ICC and all of the scandals, governance scandals involving USA Cricket, the U.S. Olympic Committee, or U.S. OPC, Olympic and Paralympic Committee, as it's now known. I'm an old timer, so I still call it the USOC. No offense intended by that. That's just what I've called it for years. So the USOPC ended up selecting the squad. So it is a merit-based squad. And so who do we have on this squad? Let's go through the squad real quickly, and then I want to talk about some of the things I am looking at in terms of advantages I think we have so we have an opportunity to get out of Group A. It's going to be very difficult. Let's not kid ourselves. I did get out of a similar group last time, but of course we were co-hosting that World Cup. And this time, I think it's going to be much more difficult. Mayank is back. He's the captain. Now, we did not have him in the Super 8s last time. And his injury was a big part of the U.S. not performing, not being able to really kind of close out matches in the Super 8s, or even really be competitive in that last match against England. So he is the captain. He is a wicket keeper. He is a steady hand, and he remains the tactical brains on the pitch. And he was critical in the win against Pakistan in Dallas, or in Grand Prairie, back in 2024. Jesse Singh is back, and he's obviously a seamer as a bowler, and his experience is going to be important. Andres Gauss, who was fantastic at times, and in a partnership with Aaron Jones. Aaron Jones will not be in this World Cup. We know why. He has now been accused of match fixing and been suspended from all international cricket. But House is the primary offensive weapon now, with Jones no longer in the picture for the foreseeable future, perhaps permanently. He was the leading run scorer for the team in the 2024 World Cup, was one of the leading run scorers in that World Cup through the Super 8s, with 219 runs and a strike rate above 150. So fantastic. A player. Netra Valkar, I think, is kind of maybe the most known American player now because of his heroics in the Super Over against Pakistan, and his job was it at Oracle? Was that where he was working as a out in Silicon Valley? He's a pacer, and he's left arm. He is critical in terms of leading that attack. Let's see, Ali Khan got a visa. I was very concerned about that. India initially rejected a visa for him because he was born in Pakistan. They're politicizing as much as Pakistan and Bangladesh. I don't want to get too deep into the politics. We are going to talk a lot about the politics during this tournament, obviously. But I was not pleased that the Indian government initially rejected the visas for two of our American stars who happened to be born in Pakistan. But Ali Khan is one of them. He is maybe our best pacer, and he's the late overs. He's critical. So he's back. Harmeet Singh is back, who's a spinner, obviously, and I think and I'm going to get into this in a minute, but he's familiar. He and some of the others are familiar with what it takes to compete in India. And I think that's an advantage for the United States when we get to the matches against the two matches in Chennai against the Netherlands and against Namibia. Netherlands, very good side. We will be an underdog in that match, but we have some of these hidden advantages I'm going to talk about. Ken Genji is back. He's a left arm spinner, sort of more controlled. He'll give up runs, but he's not going to give up a lot of boundaries. So really, kind of in the middle of the order, he's a guy that you want in the middle of the innings. Van Schalwick, who is I think a very underrated all-rounder, is back. Very versatile player. So he's on this team again. Midland is back. Kumar, an all-rounder who wasn't the most important guy in 2024. Might be more important because of his experience in India in this tournament. Jahangir is back. Another one who we were concerned was not going to get a visa. He's a middle. He's kind of in the middle of the order. He's a very good kind of utility player. He can be a wicket keeper, so useful. Now we have some new faces, and this is the advantage of Major League Cricket now having knocked on and having developed some players. We have some very good young American players. The U19s did okay in the U19 tournament, which is still ongoing. We were eliminated at the group stage, but there were some good performances in there. And let's talk about the guys though that are going to be at this tournament. There were a couple: Ranjane, Jayasuri, Moshin, Mukamala. But Krishnamurthy is a guy I've seen in Major League Cricket, seen a lot of, and just I think he's going to be such an important guy. He's a spinner, and he's an all-rounder. And I think he's someone we think is going to continue to evolve going forward. Now, in terms of some of the other guys, Motion is a leg spinner. So that will that will create some variety in the bowling room, which we need, right? We haven't had that. We didn't have that in the tournament in 2024. And then let's talk about Jayasura, because I think he's really a big talking point. Obviously, having played internationally for Sri Lanka, he brings elite experience, right? He's played at the highest level. This was sort of what we saw last time with Corey Anderson, the former New Zealander who had played at an elite level. He wasn't at the top of his game necessarily in that World Cup in 2024, but he was able to provide a lot for this U.S. team. And I think that a lot of leadership, a lot of kind of stability. I think Jai Surya brings that this time. And I also think he is he's just kind of a very heady player. Ranjane is a player I have not really seen at the T20 level. Okay, I've seen him play ODI test. I've seen him play internationally, that is. And he's a guy that apparently, and again, I have not seen this, apparently he did very well in South Africa's T20 league with the Chennai Super Kings affiliate there. I think they're in they might be in Joburg. They're in Joburg or Cape Town. He did really well with them and has had a good output. So on paper, we've got an interesting side. Now, our fixtures. This is really important. We open against India and Mumbai. That is going to be a very difficult match. And I think it's very unlikely we get anything from that match. We're going to want to keep the run rate under control. You don't want to be so in the hole on run rate after that first fixture against the hosts, against the favorites or the co-favorites. I think Australia has maybe even money chance to win this tournament. So let's say the co-favorites, co-host co-favorites, along with Australia. It's going to be difficult, that match. Then we go to Colombo to play Pakistan. Pakistan will not play matches in India. That's a whole other thing. We will talk about that on our first daily show that we're going to start doing on the day before the tournament begins. I tend to think that Pakistan is due a win against the U.S. after what happened 2 years ago. But let's see where their head is. Their preparation hasn't been great for this tournament, and there are a lot of question marks. There are a lot of question marks about whether some of these guys even want to play for Pakistan anymore. They're pressured to. If they don't play for Pakistan, they're in trouble from a personal and professional standpoint. But I'm not sure how committed necessarily the cause they would be. Now, keep in mind, if Pakistan chooses not to play India, then we are in a position where they will not. They will forfeit that match. I have to look at how the net run rates are assigned based on that. So that the ICC has to work that out. We play on Saturday, the February 7th, 8:30 a.m. Eastern time against India. Willow TV and ESPN. If you're in the Caribbean, if you happen to not be in the United States, if you are in the Caribbean or you're on a cruise ship, you can watch it on ESPN. It's on ESPN Caribbean. February 10th, which is a Tuesday, 8:30 a.m. in Colombo. Again, Willow TV, ESPN if you're in the Caribbean. Your U.S. against Pakistan. Then Friday, the 13th, USA against Netherlands. That match is in Chennai, which is I was born and raised in the U.S. I've never lived outside the U.S., but my family is from Chennai, so very familiar with the venue in Chennai Stadium, and very, very familiar with the conditions there. I was actually in Chennai last February, so it was a little warmer than you would expect, and a little more humid than you would expect. But that's what's happening with the climate in India. It's getting warmer. Even places like Bangalore are getting warmer, even though they're in a valley and kind of at elevation. So that is on the 13th. That's 8:30 a.m. Eastern time also. So all three of those matches you can watch if you get up in the morning. Now, the tricky one where we get into World Cup, FIFA World Cup 2002 territory, when I woke up my neighbors when John O'Brien scored that opening goal against Portugal for the U.S. and I got a complaint, was in an apartment and got a complaint about noise levels. It's like, oh, jeez. That match for us in this tournament, for the U.S. in this cricket World Cup in India, is the 4:30 a.m. first ball against Namibia in the final Group A fixture on Sunday, February 15th in Chennai, 4:30 a.m. First ball, which is less than 48 hours after. Will be less than 48 hours after the conclusion, or actually less than 48 hours after the start of the match against the Netherlands. So that's a quick turnaround, and that's what you go through. Actually, in football, it's a football/soccer. It's the same thing with that final group game in World Cups. So that's going to be a test of our depth. Now let's get to my talking points and the advantages we have with the location of where this World Cup is being played. So it is the home away from home for several of our players. Harmeet Singh, Kumar, Netravalkar, who we talked about earlier, Ranjane. They all grew up and playing in the Indian system. They're not just of Indian descent like I am. I've never lived a day outside the United States, although I've traveled a lot, but I've never lived a day outside the United States. Those four players grew up in India and played in the Indian system. Netravalkar was even capped at the youth level for India. So these are guys that know the conditions. Things like reading the pitches, understanding how the wicket's going to play, understanding some of the nuances of the grounds is something that they'll understand that I sense the players from Namibia and the Netherlands won't. And That's also something that if the U.S. advances beyond the group stage, will come into play against the likes of New Zealand, Australia, the West Indies, England, Italy. If Italy and Scotland are now grouped together after Italy thought they had dealt with Scotland in qualifying and wouldn't have to face them again. Now, obviously, Scotland gets let in because Bangladesh withdraws from the tournament or is basically kicked out of the tournament. So there are a lot of European sides that will not have, or Western sides, we can say, that will not have the sort of local knowledge the U.S. has. That's the case also with Canada. So Canada has a few players that have come up through the Indian system. So they'll have Canada and their group will have some local knowledge as well. The Jayasuriya factor, we talked about him being Sri Lankan, and I think that that's going to really help in terms of that fixture against Pakistan, which is in Sri Lanka. He has a lot of local knowledge of Colombo. It will be also good for him in the dressing room. And there is a familiarity with Chennai also if you're Sri Lankan. I'm not big on nationalism, so it's almost, as someone who is of Tamil extraction, I almost feel like I have more in common with people who are in Sri Lanka than people who are in most of India. That's the absolute truth. Now, I can say that very safely because I like I said, I've been born and raised and grew up in the U.S., so there's that mindset. I've never lived in India. The third big thing, and I talked about this at the outset of the show, is that the governance situation was such that the U.S. selected their best team. They selected their best players. Okay? The politics that has beset USA Cricket and USACA before that, the previous governing body, and the politics that I am used to from the sport I work in, which is football, soccer, American soccer, U.S. soccer, that politics, which has really beyond infected soccer/football in the United States, it's entirely political, and it had gotten that way in cricket, in addition to governance malfeasance. That's out the window with the U.S. picking their best squad, maybe the one squad in this entire tournament picked without political considerations. So that's another advantage for us. So I am somewhat upbeat, and I think it is going to be very, very difficult. I'm not naive to that reality, but I do think we have a shot. Maybe not a great shot, but we have a shot, and we have some certain built-in advantages to where we could potentially make some noise here in Group A. In spite of all the tumult with USA Cricket, all of the potential for that to derail the growth of the sport in this country, Major League Cricket is doing some really good things in developing players and getting people interested in the game in this country. And with the player development we're seeing in cricket in this country, that had been a concern of mine all along. But I'm really upbeat. I'm really excited going into this tournament. It is 8 days. It's going to be a marathon. It's going to be quick, and we get to test ourselves. So stay tuned here to Beyond the Boundary and to the From the Pavilion podcast. And we're doing this in association with Beyond the 90, which is my soccer site. At some point, we may break this out. Although a lot of y'all who are football fans, soccer fans, have expressed an interest in following this tournament specifically. So we're going to be here starting February 6th, hopefully every day during the tournament to discuss the latest results and obviously a special emphasis on our USA national team and how we do in this tournament in India and Sri Lanka. So good luck to our boys, and starting February 6th, check us out on a daily basis. Once again, I'm Kartik Krishnaiyer. Thank you very much for your patronage and your support.